Let's be honest. Are you tired of hearing about the incredible promise of AI while your company is just spinning its wheels, drowning in a sea of failed projects, duplicate work, and wasted resources? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we are going to cut right through that chaos and show you how to get the results you were actually promised in the first place. You know that feeling of running on a treadmill? You're putting in all this effort, you're burning through your budget, your team's morale is tanking, but you're not actually getting anywhere? That bitter taste of disappointment after all the hype and all the hard work, that right there is AI fatigue. And it's what happens when you have a ton of frantic activity but no real progress. So how do we get off that treadmill? Well, we've broken down our approach into 5 key steps. We're going to start by identifying the #1 pitfall trapping so many businesses, the AI speed trap. Then we'll completely reframe how you think about AI to build a solid foundation. And finally, we'll get to the good part, the secret to achieving real, sustainable speed. Okay, let's dive right into the AI speed trap. This is that seductive but really dangerous idea that just moving fast is the same as making progress. But it's not. When you prioritize speed above everything else, you don't get progress. You just get chaos. It's a recipe for burnout, and it's a surefire way to waste your entire investment. So, what's the big mental shift you need to make? It's this. Stop thinking of AI as a magic solution. Instead, think of it as a ridiculously powerful engine. Now, if you attach that engine to a well-designed race car, wow, you're going to go faster and farther than ever before. But if you strap that exact same engine to a rickety, wobbly go-kart, you're just going to crash and burn, only a whole lot faster. And this is really where the rubber meets the road. That AI engine can be an incredible process accelerator, or if you don't manage it, it becomes a variation amplifier, creating inconsistency all over the place. Worse yet, if it's poorly governed, it's a defect multiplier, scaling up your existing problems to terrifying levels. It can be a force for incredible good, or a force for absolute chaos, and the choice is entirely up to how you manage it. Look at this. It's a perfect illustration. On the left, you've got a clear, streamlined workflow. You apply AI here and you supercharge the process. You get results in record time. Awesome. But on the right, you have a tangled, fuzzy mess. When you throw AI at that, you don't get clarity. You just get a supercharged mess that creates way more problems than it solves. I want you to burn this quote into your memory because it's the single most important thing to understand about AI. It is not a magic wand that's going to fix your broken processes. It's a giant magnifying glass. It will amplify everything you're already doing, for better or for worse. So what this means is we have to stop asking the wrong question. Stop asking, how fast can we roll out AI? Instead, we need to start asking smart operational questions. Where can AI actually remove waste from our process? Where might it introduce new problems, new variability? And critically, do we have a standard way of working with it? Okay, so the solution to all this chaos is surprisingly simple, but it does require a radical shift in how you think. It's a 3-word mantra that will change everything about how you approach AI. Value, quality, then speed. And yes, it has to be in that exact order. First, you absolutely must prove the value. Don't just assume AI is going to make things better. Prove it. Get a clear win on a real workflow. Okay, once you've done that, then you focus on quality. You build a system that is safe, reliable, and repeatable. And only then, once you have that rock-solid foundation, only then have you earned the right to step on the gas. I mean, think about it. If you try to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, we all know what happens, right? It's going to collapse. Well, the exact same thing is true for AI. If you chase speed before you've locked in value and quality, you're not building for the future. You are building a house of cards that is absolutely destined to fall. So how do you actually build that foundation of quality, especially at scale? Well, think of it like cooking. If you want everyone in your huge kitchen to make a consistently delicious meal, you don't just tell them to go cook, you give them a good recipe. For a successful AI program, you need a standardized AI recipe that everyone on your team can follow. And this table really shows the secret sauce. It's all about striking that perfect balance between control and freedom. You need really tight control over the things that create major enterprise risk. Which AI models you use, who has access to what data. But you have to give your teams the freedom to experiment with things like prompts and workflows, because that's where the innovation, that's where the magic really happens. And to make it even easier, instead of letting every single team reinvent the wheel, which is a recipe for disaster, you provide them with a set of pre-approved templates or build shapes. This stops the sprawl and the chaos that comes from a total free-for-all, and it ensures a baseline of quality right from the very start.
Now, you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds good, but how do I manage all this without creating a bureaucratic nightmare? And the answer is risk tiering. It's a really simple, lightweight way to apply just the right amount of oversight to each project without slowing everything down to a crawl.
First up is the green tier. This is your fast lane. Think of these as low-risk internal projects, like maybe a search engine for your company's documentation. The stakes are low, so your teams can move really quickly, they can experiment, and they can learn as they go with very little oversight. Next up, we have the yellow tier. This is your controlled lane. This is for projects with a bit more risk. Maybe they handle some sensitive data, or they support a business-critical decision. These need a bit more scrutiny, a second set of eyes, but they can still move forward pretty efficiently as long as the right controls are in place. And finally, we have the red tier. Okay, this is reserved for your highest risk projects. We're talking anything that's customer-facing, anything involved in regulated decisions, or anything that can take actions on its own. These demand the absolute highest level of scrutiny and a stop-the-line mentality. You simply cannot afford to get these wrong. So let's bring it all together. You have your base recipe, your build shapes, and your risk tiers. These are the fundamental building blocks of a successful AI program. And by putting these standards in place, you're not slowing things down. No, you're actually creating the very fast lanes you were chasing all along. But this time, you're doing it without the chaos. You know, the way you talk about AI reveals your entire mindset. If you're still just saying, we're rolling out AI, you're stuck in that old, chaotic way of thinking. But if you're talking about defining standard patterns to improve specific metrics like cycle time and error rates, now you're on the right track.
And here's another huge one. This is the difference between a company that's just playing with AI and a company that is actually using AI to win. It's the difference between chaos and control. It's the difference between failure and real, lasting success. Because in the end, successful AI isn't some chaotic, flashy science project. The real goal is to make it boring on purpose. Yeah, boring. Boring because it's reliable. Boring because it's predictable. So the question isn't, how can we make AI more exciting? The real question is, how can we make our AI so boringly effective that it just becomes the new, invisible standard for how we do business? The answer to that is what will determine the future of your company.